Next, we're going to create our weight layer. We're going to use this to handle the breakdown through the walk cycle, and we really need everything in the rig except the master controller in this layer. So I'm just going to marquee drag select over everything, hold down control and deselect our master controller. Then I'm going to create a new layer and name it weight. All right, now with everything selected in this layer, we want to start out by just simply making a keyframe for the rotates and translates on frame 1, frame 12, and frame 24. Great. Now we're going to do our breakdown. So on frame 6, this is our passing position for our walk cycle. We're going to raise boxPerson up, and then we're going to middle mouse click that same pose and keyframe Shift W, Shift E on frame 18. Make sure we do that on frame 6 too. So now we have this. We've got a bit of an up and down going, but we haven't got our cycle set up. So come back into the, what am I doing? Animation graph editor. We're going to flatten our tangents on this so we just get nice even curves. I'm going to grab everything because we need to animate the rotates and the translates on the torso control, and we're just going to cycle that. So now we've got this up and down motion. Starting to feel more and more like a walk cycle. All right, before we go on, I want to take a minute to talk about animating the master control. Before we move on, I want to take a minute to talk about animating the root control. This is possibly the most important control that you will have access to as an animator. And honestly, you're going to spend 90% of your time finessing the motion on this control. The important thing to remember about your root control is that this is probably the one control on your entire rig that will never actually be still at any point. You're very unlikely to ever come across a flat curve here. This particular control is always in motion. You might see flat curves occasionally on some of the other ones. This one is going to be the bulk of the work that you do for the animation, and it is always in motion. All right, so we've got our up and down happening. Now I'm going to add our breakdown for our feet. I'm going to do our pink leg first. I'm going to keep this very, very simple for now. All I'm going to do is just raise it straight up into the air like this, rotate the foot down, and drag it back like this. Now let's have a look. There's some funkiness going on here that you can see right away. And it's just like we've got some weird curves through here we need to clean up. So come back into your graph editor. Let's have a look at our curves here. So for starters, we need to flatten this because this is when the foot is in contact with the ground. So this is our rotate X on the foot. So that's that axis. And we just need to make sure that after the foot contacts, it stays flat on the ground. So we've got fixed the rotate, but we've got some other areas where we're having the same problem. Here, let's have a look here. Pretty good. All right, let's fix up our purple foot. We're going to add our breakdown for that, which is going to happen on frame 18. Raise it up, lag it. The reason why we lag it is legs are heavy, so it takes a fair bit of effort to get from here to here, and you can see how it naturally starts to create something that looks pretty much like a foot roll, which is pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at these keyframes and clean them up. It's really important to notice this part of the process. I just don't just keyframe in the viewport and move on. I pay really close attention to everything that's happening across the board. Okay, that should do it. Let's see what we've got here. Pretty good. If you come into the front, you can see, you can see there isn't much happening. Like, it doesn't really feel like a walk from the front. It looks okay from the side, but from the front, definitely feels pretty stiff and pretty weightless. So let's correct that. That weightlessness is all going to be handled just on the cog, and just noticed a little error here. I've timed my cycle wrong. I've got a different number of frames here to what I have everywhere else, so I need to correct that, but that is thankfully pretty easy to do. So we're going to right click on both of these layers, select all of these objects. I'm going to shift marquee drag across this whole thing and then pop everything over one frame. Now we have the exact same number of frames in the cycle. So this is exactly how we want to be working. It's a good opportunity to show you how to correct that mistake. It's easy to do, but you can see we've got like a nice even number across everything now. Yeah, an annoying mistake, but a good one to catch. So, all right, let's see what we got.